I can do.
Oh,
Okay.
they might get us on here.
Starting to connect, guys.
All right.
Hey, there's everybody.
We're just having our own conversation. Oh, there it's quiet again. You can
There's
still
Jim Griffin. I wonder if Jim can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
This is Jim.
Well,
Yeah, I just
we're just
had trouble
talking
getting
on
in.
the side here, Jim.
Oh, there's Jim. Okay.
Had trouble getting in earlier. Couldn't figure it out.
Me
It's not
neither.
working.
Right. There is the boss, the head man. He's talking.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear him.
Cannot hear the speaker.
No, no.
I can't hear you. Connecting to audio.
Can you guys hear us okay on the interwebs?
Oh, we just heard.
We just got you in on mine.
Just got here Jonesy now. Just
Okay,
now.
so we have a microphone in the room now. How does that sound?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I think we're getting better and better every time.
Here,
By the minute.
Sound
Okay.
better.
this is what
We're gonna start the AI SIG first. Lawrence is gonna moderate the discussion for a little while now.
Woo, Lawrence. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to welcome everybody. This is going to be a wonderful day because I'm here and still alive, kicking.
Right.
One of the questions I want to ask, this is you guys see. This is you guys see. And no, don't worry about that. This is you guys see. And I wanted to know, I'm just a moderator, and I want to know what ideas you guys had. I'm not sure. Does everybody have my email?
Mm-hmm.
I do. Okay. Yeah. So what I need you to do is send some suggestions so that we can actually figure out what best suits you guys, right? Not me, not one particular person, but a group of us. And we got enough weeks in a year to almost take advantage of everybody that can take advantage of it. So that's good. Yes.
I want to
Okay.
ask about ChatGPT 4 versus 3.5. What's the difference, and then why is the cost worth it, or do you know anything about it?
I don't know anything about it, but usually when the numbers go up, it gets better. So that's all I can tell you. Okay, does anybody out there in the internet land have any suggestions or anything?
Not right at the moment.
Do you want to do, everything has AI in it. So do you want to do different apps that has AI? Do you want to have somebody come in and talk about AI? Yes.
I'm sorry, kind of, I didn't expect you calling me so quick, and I was asking AI to ask an intelligent question. Obviously, I have trouble doing it. Second part is how could AI integrate with either Chrome or Explorer?
Ooh,
Okay,
Explorer.
Ooh.
Explorer.
I have, matter of fact, I have Bart added to my Safari, and I use it. And then there's the ability, and I can show you that there's ability to take an icon and put it on your desk based on you're going to a website. And so all I do when I need to know a question is all I need to do is hit that particular web icon and it sends me there. Matter of fact, if I'm still logged in here, I didn't know I was, I'll show you what.
Oh, you're off the air.
And I'm going to do this. All right. So what I normally do is right here, there is a bar, this little icon over here. I can't go for it. It's the last row over to the left. You see it? It says BART IA on the bottom. Okay. If I click that immediately, I can bring it up and I'm right there in BART in IA. And then I can go and ask it a question like, who won the last World Series? And so what it'll do is spin, and now it'll give you all that information. But again, I went to BART, signed up for BART, and made it an icon on the desktop. And then that gave me the ability to,
Is on the desktop, not in Safari?
it's in Safari, but you can put icons on the desktop that has Safari.
Alias of a web page, you can make an icon and put it on your desktop. Click on it to that web page.
And then Apple created the ability to do that in Sonoma, but all you have to do is go to File and down one of the options is, do you want to put it in the dock? And then you click it, and then it will automatically put that icon in the dock, and therefore you can also use that just to touch the dock. But you first got to go to BART, and you see we can cut it out. If you look at the web page, it says bart.google.com. If you go to that website, and then you make that icon based on that website, then you're in good shape.
And then is there a cost to that?
Absolutely not.
Well, if you start using BART a bunch, there is.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think there is a limit, but I haven't reached it yet. Thank you.
Ray has a question.
Yes.
Good morning. I wanted to offer an opinion. I've had quite a few people, family and friends in Apple Corps and otherwise that are truly fearful of using an AI app. And I have come to this conclusion just by experience. I have been on now about 6 different apps, and I believe that the paid apps, and they're not terribly expensive, are safe. I have been on now since about June, and I have not had anything nefarious or anything like that happen. And I have stayed away from the freebies. A lot of things start up free, and you can read about them and look at them, but I haven't signed up for those. The ones I have signed up for is where I pay $4 a month or $8 a month. And I believe it's a safe environment for people to actually get their foot in the water with ChatGPT or certainly Adobe. We'll hear more about that this morning. But for $10 a month, you can get Adobe. It's just absolutely amazing. And Mid-Journey is about $8 a month. So that's just my thought and my suggestion. If you really want to try, pick one of the paid apps, ChatGPT or something, and give it a try. It's really amazing stuff. Thank you.
If the AI people spy on me, they're gonna try to figure out what I bought. That's cool. I want to target you what I want to buy.
I would also argue to anyone who's fearful of AI, if you're using a computer, tablet, or smartphone right now, you're using AI in some form or fashion, whether you know it or not. It's pretty much being baked into the apps in different forms, in different ways. So, and I think one of the biggest things that I always hear is, well, Apple's behind an AI, Apple's behind an AI. And it's not really true. Apple has been baking AI into a lot of their different apps, but they're doing it in such a fashion that you don't know it's there, that it's seamless. And they're doing it in a very Apple fashion that, you know, when it works so well, it looks like magic. So, you know, I would say, as with any argument of this is going to ruin society, yeah, probably a little bit, but you know, I think this saying has been going on since, you know, computers started to take off. This saying, I think, was probably relative when automation and factory assembling took off. So, as with all things, it's a tool, and it just, at the end of the day, it depends on how you use it.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think that, you know, AI is smart AI is a little bit different, but not much different than using a search engine in either Google. It just gives you more. But what really makes the difference is when you use it in an app that makes things better. And like anything, I get my email, and I was just going to show everybody this. This is this email that I just love, which is Canary. And one of the things that's so nice about it is that it will answers a lot better than me. For instance, I said,
Holy shit.
reply to an email, and it gives me an option. Do I want to do it in a positive, negative, or delay? So I had a bug in this program, and I wrote them, and they wrote me back and said, yes, it is a bug, and look out for it. I'm going to write them back maybe in the negative this time. So I'm going to put it, it's going to go in and it's going to generate code. Thank you for keeping up. And it about the bug. And there's not much to say how I am. That's what you can have if you do it in the negative. If you do it in the positive, which you can. And one of the things I suggest everybody does is read what it says. Don't just go that it's going to do everything totally right for you. So again, there it is. It's actually writing it for me. Thank you for letting me know about the bug in Mac OS. I appreciate you and your efforts to unfold work. I can't even see it. Ground. Is that workaround?
Workarounds.
And look forward to seeing the release. Anyway, I didn't have to write that. It's already written for me. But again, I'm going to read it before I send it off because I don't even trust myself, let alone a machine that may mess up. So I think use it, trust it, but verify. Is that the way it goes? Trust but verify. Yes.
I was going to comment on what Josie said about everything's got AI in it. The app that's on your iPhone that does memories, I'm assuming everybody's using those memory pictures.
Right.
But I have 44,000 pictures on my phone.
Right.
In my system.
Right.
It picked out on every subject. I could have spent a year trying to pick those pictures out to be the best pictures I wanted to show, and they were all there. It's amazing.
I don't know if I haven't. okay, I can't say, there's Lightroom and we're gonna get a demo of Lightroom. So I don't know what Lightroom, because I don't want to pay for it every month, but I use another one. And it definitely is not as nice as iPhoto. But I was just mentioning that it breaks, you're right, it breaks it up even in the categories. I know if I'm looking for a picture that I did FaceTime, it breaks it out into that. If I'm looking for a panoramic, it breaks it out into that. So you're right. There's a lot of AI, and Apple says that with everybody asks them, do you have an AI? Are you working on AI? And Apple says, I've got AI built in all my applications.
I've done something, AI, about the camera button. And it gave me reassurance, it's either photo and camera or camera. With that confidence, and I saw camera. I was blind to camera without the illusory, was making a lane thing. I mean, yeah, of course, camera, you know, it was easy to say, but it gave me confidence, because I believed it.
Well,
Whatever that's worth.
no, I agree with you. I used to know where everything was, or close, not everything, but quite a few things where they were in the Mac OS and iOS, but they switched it. You know, now it's all different. And there's a lot of times that I'll Google where these certain things are, and it will come up and tell me where they are, and therefore I can go right to it. I look very smart, but in actuality, I had no idea until I asked it. So yes, you're right. It's a good thing.
Sure, not 19.
So, any other questions?
Has anyone noticed the ads for the Pixel 8 phone?
Yes, where they take the pictures. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Now
Yeah.
that is where AI is going. And I'm a little disturbed that Apple is not out of the gate. I'm sure they've got that kind of stuff working, but Pixel 8 is stealing their thunder, and it's going to be flashy and probably doesn't work extremely well, but it's going to sell a lot of those phones, in my opinion.
And if I can be the devil advocate for Apple, I think Apple could do that. But if Apple does everything, they will ostracize the people who are writing code. And Apple gets billions and billions of dollars from their app store. So you don't want to cut your app store out just to prove that you can do something when you're making billions of dollars off of it. So I really think they could do it, but I don't think they're going to do it. It's because they don't want to lose their revenue, because you've got to go to the app store and buy a particular app to get it done. And I may be wrong, but that seems like where they're going with it.
You make a point.
Well, on the news last night, they said something about Elon Musk's new AI. Anybody know what that is?
I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
What's that?
Elon Musk has released an AI bot.
Yeah, and I tell you, Elon Musk, in my opinion, is a loose cannon. I'm very concerned about his, well, let's just say his morals, that he has, what he's done to Twitter, and he is as usual making a lot of noise, and I'm pretty fed up with Elon Musk.
I agree with you 100% on that, but you know, as long as you've been alive and knowing that saying is really true, that there's a very thin line between genius and insanity. Yeah, you've heard that for a long time, and I think in his situation, it applies wholeheartedly.
Yeah, he's a genius, no doubt. I feel like he's not concerned about the safety of AI. And we need a bunch of the big boys to be a little more concerned about that.
Now, I
Well,
understand
There's
that he
a lot with the safety in Tesla on it. It's hard to say that, safety is not a high priority for him in AI stuff.
And you gotta remember, everybody thinks that he is running everything, just like they used to think, people used to say, I'm gonna call Bill Gates and tell him about it. But Bill Gates is just one, it's the people that you have around him, and I think that there really is no other company that has as good a people as Tesla. Now, he's crazy, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think he testified in Congress, he was one of the very first ones to bring up the point how dangerous AI can be. And he testified in Congress and extensively on the risk and the dangers of AI being misused.
And I just hope that he does the same thing he did with Tesla and get good people around him that will rein him in, because he is a loose cannon. I agree.
And he is autistic. I mean,
He's admitted it because he admitted it. Yes, he's right.
Back to Chat GPT. Somebody asked about that this morning about the new stuff in chat. What I have noticed in Chat GPT now is it's remembering more, and it was a little bit insulting, but it was absolutely true. When I tried to use it yesterday, and I gave it a problem to, I prompted it to build me a web page, and it came back and it said, since you are a novice in Python programming, I'm going to give you my answer in more detail. Well, now it remembers that I've been playing around with Python, and it knows I'm an amateur, and it took that into account this morning. And you can, especially in the new version, you can train it to you don't have to keep telling it certain things. And that's one of the new features of the latest version. It has more memory.
Good. That's great. And at least it'll know your abilities.
Yeah.
So you write terribly, I'm going to see your whole page. But that's good. That's a good idea. I mean, that's a good knowledge to know that it kind of knows as you go. Richard, this morning also made me aware that some people have sent in that they might want to have AI come in and talk about how it manages your portfolio. Okay. Now, I don't know. I mean, we definitely want to say that sounds scary, but here's something else. I use a thing called
Very rewarding if you're on the leading edge. You don't want to.
Well, you're right, because let me tell you a little story about me. I use a thing called Betterment. Betterment came out and said that they were only going to charge you X amount of money starting out if you got $15,000 or more, and it was only going to be 1% because there's no humans running this. They were all computers that would turn around and do that. And what wound up happening is Charles Schwab which I used too, but Charles Schwab came back and said, that is the worst thing. I would not use it. Why would you want a computer and using it? And I signed up, of course, we did, not a whole lot of money, but I did. And as the years gone on and I've added money, it's made money for me steadily, even in the bad times. And now, Charles Schwab goes, well, maybe we're a little wrong. We got hours now. Would you like to put money in hours? So you have to be careful when you use these things. Maybe you put $2 in it or something like that. But you put a little money in it, then wait and let it grow, improve itself. If everybody, would everybody be interested in it? And I don't know how Richard came about this. Does he know of anybody that has, I'll let you say, that does this?
I don't personally know. I just got this recommendation from another member of our group. And it was related to somebody that appeared to me to be selling their services in tech stock day trading. And I just feel like maybe this group is not the right group to hear that message. If you are, we can invite this person, but just be aware that they're probably gonna want to sell you some tech day trading advice.
And there might be
tied to AI.
because we're all smart, and if they can get other, we can shill for other people to get their stuff.
So, like Dr. Gupta talked about when he was here, AI is good at pattern matching. That's all it is. It doesn't understand at our level what it's looking at. It's going out and canvassing all known data on the internet and pattern matching, right?
Right.
So that's okay. Do you want to use that as a decision-making tool for your money, for your health, for very important decisions in your life? That's up to everybody to make that decision. So as SIG leader, Lawrence, President Richard, do we want to let these people come in and talk to our group? I guess that's up to everyone.
Yeah, we'll take a vote on it.
Huh? Yeah, sure.
Send me in a vote. Or
So,
Jones,
we do have a
Jones,
name of somebody that can come talk to us.
do you have a ability to let people do voting? You always have cool stuff.
Like right now?
Well, next
Or,
week, maybe next
or like
week.
send it out to everyone in an email and have them vote that way? Yes,
yeah,
yes, I do.
Yeah. And I agree with Richard. Everybody needs to take it with a grain of salt because I use Betterment and it's been really great, but my retirement portfolio is what it is. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Has anybody used AI to do a PowerPoint presentation?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think.
Not yet with Keynote or PowerPoint.
Well, I think we mean to do it.
There is
Oh, Ray has something.
Ray?
there is AI in Apple's what's the name of Apple's PowerPoint?
Keynote.
Yeah, there's AI in that already.
And so what does it do to help you along? Like my email app writes my email for, does the Keynote suggest slides for you? Or does it, what does it do to help you,
Josie's gonna put one together.
Yeah, no.
Is that say that's all things, not AI things, some stuff. I can't see it here.
Gotta put your glasses on.
Now, you know what? I'll go back to my doctor. I paid for new eyes and it seems like they're failing today. Yes.
One of the things you can do is ask AI to create an outline of what you plan to present, so you can make it either complex or simplistic, and it suggests the appropriate topics
And that's in,
ChatGPT or any.
oh, and AI, you can do it that way. That's a good idea. You can, ask AI to outline your theme or subject that you want to create in your presentation.
Yeah, I might have to dive into Keynote and see what's available on the Keynote side, because I'm not immediately seeing
You
anything.
know what'd be good? Ask GP what's in. You got that? Say, hey, GP.
I'm searching too. I
like,
popped
tell
off
me
and
how
said
I
that.
can use AI.
I remember reading
Oh, that
something.
might, that
I'm
might, oh, sorry,
searching.
go ahead, Ray. Sorry, my apologies.
I popped off and said that. I remember reading something. I'm trying to find what I read. So excuse my unconfirmed statement.
And I'm sure if we had a little time to prepare, we could probably put something together for next time.
Yeah.
And that can get it into the Disney Post simulator, making a program. And, so in between times, just look kindly at me while I'm speaking out. Okay.
That's me normally.
Speaking of that, this week, how am I doing on time?
It's 10 till.
So I got 10 minutes? Is that right? 10 minutes?
Although I can take whatever you give me.
I'll give it to you in a second. The last thing is that if you use, Final Cut Pro, they said that Final Cut Pro is gonna be a new version, going to be released in November, and it's gonna have AI in it. So that's gonna be interested in finding out how AI will help you.
I have that going, can't hear.
Yes,
It's me? Oh, okay. Okay.
so I'm saying that if you, maybe next week or next month, we can, if we got time, we can, look at Final Cut Pro and see what the AI is in it. I have Final Cut Pro, don't use it much, but I got it.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. Unless anyone has any other questions, I'll wrap up the AI SIG for today. Appreciate all the inputs.
Yeah, I do, Laura. Yes, thank you, guys.
So we have a few minutes, but if it's okay with everyone, I'd like to get a little early start. We have Chita Hunter with us. She's joined us online. She'll be our main presenter after the board meeting and after the election.
Hi, Sheeta.
Until right at 11 o'clock for the election? Or you think we're good to go? Okay. Could we do the election before the board meeting? Was part of it? It's part of the board meeting. Okay. All right, so we'll call the board meeting to order at 10:54, according to the clock on the wall. And need minutes. Oh, there, right there.
Hey, you moved, Tim. How dare you change these?
10:54. Call the board to order. Thank you. Does anyone have any changes to last month's minutes? Any changes? Okay, so we will have the minutes from last month approved as written. Appreciate Tim Baker taking those minutes again. It's very valuable to us. We'll get to that. Okay, treasurer's report, please, Mr. Sharp.
Tim, did you get the treasure?
I did, yes. You want it? You need it?
I was just confirming it for now.
Yes, I have it.
Yes, sir.
I have it. I have it.
Okay, just to keep the annual meeting short, Taylor Sharp, treasurer's report was submitted and will be attached with the minutes, as well as the membership report. All bills are paid and we're good to go. I have a couple of reimbursements still out for review. Other than that, good to go.
And membership report, you also are being handed off to Richard Stoddard.
No, well, membership's attached with
Okay. All right, that is. Taylor's here, so you want to. Okay, so election committee is up next. Taylor is the head of the election committee.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
Okay. Certainly, sir. There we go. Okay, I'm Taylor Sharp. I'm the chairman of the election committee, which is made up of Larry Bishop, Richard Stoddard, and I. We were appointed a couple months ago or something like that by the board. We reviewed available candidates. We made the nominations to the board. The board has confirmed these nominations of the slate for the elections. And the slate that is being put before the membership in this annual meeting is for president is going to be on the slate is Richard Lynch, the back there. Vice president is Lawrence Jenkins. We've been listening to him do his AI thing. We have board of directors would be Barbara Hartker, who's not here today. Richard Hodges, he's hiding over there. I won't call him Dick, but anyway. And Bernie Houlihan, and Bernie's not.
He's on Zoom.
Oh, Bernie's on the, yeah, hey, Bernie up on the screen there. Yeah, so Bernie's here. So, at this point, we have to give the opportunity to, all the members.
Anybody like to nominate someone to be on, this election?
You can do so at this point. The only thing I'm gonna, say is the election committee is before, if you're gonna make a nomination here or want to be added, make sure you ask them if they want to be, because one of the, conditions is you have to have people that are willing to serve, so it's not just a matter of nominating someone. So at this point, I'm gonna, look at here at the audience as well as the virtual one to see if there's anybody who would, like to nominate, someone else for any of these positions at this time. Okay, going once. Going twice. 3 times. Okay, so this means our final slate is been determined here. And since we have one position for each position, there is not going to be a runoff on it. So I'm going to combine this into one election where you get to vote for everybody for the same positions that they've been nominated for. So all in favor of the slate for the positions that have been nominated, signify by raising your right hand. Okay, all opposed, raise your right hand. Okay, I do not see any negative votes, so without further ado, I'm going to declare that the nominees are now officially elected, and at the time of certification by the election committee and submission to the secretary, Tim, they will take their new positions. Welcome and congratulations. This concludes the election committee report.
Hey, okay, thank you. And there are several positions that are nominated by the president every year. And I appreciate everyone who's worked this year on those. Tim Baker with the secretary is one. If there are any people who do not want to continue in those positions, please let me know. And we'll look for volunteers to fill those slots. Otherwise, I'll assume that you're okay with continuing for the next year in your positions as appointed. All right, program director's report. That's me. I appointed myself program director. Next month is our Christmas party. And so we've been thinking about that. Shirley Dunbar is going to be planning that in detail. I plan to bring a lot of my old Apple computers for a display. We are going to have this rooms. We'll have the kitchenette. We'll have my display. If anybody wants to bring anything to show and tell, it's a good time to do that. Sometimes people like to show things they worked on related to Apple software, hardware, job related, whatever you like. That would be fine. We are going to have a giveaway this time. We're going to have a little raffle like we used to do in Richardson. And we're planning to give away a Mac Mini, an M2, not an M3, an M2 Mac Mini. We'll be giving away an Apple TV 4K latest release, and a HomePod Mini. And my plan is to find those part of Black Friday sales here soon. I think I can do that. And the board has already approved the expense for that, so we will be having that giveaway. If anybody can get a hold of more little gotchas and gimmies and things from people, feel free to bring them. We'll raffle those off as well. I was able to get some neat looking posters from University of North Texas when I went there recently. I'll talk about that in a minute. We can give those away too.
And I think we'll buy Christmas.
Sure, yeah, if you wanna bring some music and play it. I may be able to get some running on my Apple 3GS. Okay. That'd be great. As far as food, we'll let Shirley finish the planning on that. Probably cannot bring any home cooked, just like in the Richardson days. I assume Carrollton doesn't permit that either. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I think it's okay.
Ready to cook and everything.
Yes,
Okay. Did they say we can do that?
yes, I think
Okay,
they,
we have a kitchen here.
We do have a kitchen at night, so, okay. If people wanna bring some things and prepare them in the kitchen, that'd be great. We'll have the coffee, and that all set. Any more questions about next month?
Are we gonna have some kind of like a Chinese gift exchange, like a drawing for smart gifts?
I haven't thought about that.
You know, something Apple computer related, or not Apple related, but computer related or tech related or something.
We could do that if people want to, bring like a white elephant gift type thing, just do a swap. Gift exchange. Sure. I'll let Shirley know about that. And see if we can, coordinate that.
That's out.
Give you a number and, yeah, like a big circle and
You know, drawing
can
numbers.
you steal somebody else's gifts? Yeah.
That'd be the thing to do.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe I get my wife to help with that too. She's done some of that with the other size frames.
Yeah, there's all kinds of nicknames.
Yes. Did you have another question? Right, so Richard's gonna be in New Orleans, so he won't be with us. Yeah, but
Mr. World Traveler.
yes. And then you're gonna be going to 4 months. 4 months, okay. So you'll have to reintroduce yourself and come back.
there are so many people have asked me, did you need anybody to carry your luggage?
You're being picked up on the 15th. I get to.
I'll tell them that. They're gonna be disappointed.
As I want.
For January, I'm working to get, yes.
Well, we should talk to him about AI because that's who's managing his portfolio. And they are having the limousine come by and
Yeah.
pick up his luggage and.
It's the only way he can afford that trip.
Self-driving limo.
Good plan.
It's nice to live that way. How much is a private jet now per hour?
I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not doing a private jet. I wish I would.
Yeah, but you're going first class, I know that.
I'm going to Atlanta. I'll tell you, I'm going.
I may have a speaker for January. I talked to a person at UNT who now has our Applegram archive. So I digitized that. I gave it to them. They are doing the metadata for us. And it could take 4 to 6 months to get that done, but anyway. He agreed to come talk to us about that, what he does, the process UNT goes through to do the portal of Texas history. So hopefully we'll have him out for January. And I'm still trying to get Francine to do something, for her annual fitness program and see when she agrees to do that. But we're starting to work on next year's agenda a little bit. If anybody has anything they would like to talk about for next year, get with me. We always have the emulators, we've got lawmaker emulators, ancestry,
Web design.
all kinds of stuff. So send me an email or just get with me and get you on the email. All right, that concludes the program direction report. Unfinished business, that's what we call it. So like I said, we've given the digitized files to UNT. It's going to take several months to get that on, but once it's on, all of our Applegrams will be available at the portal to Texas history at the UNT libraries. So I'll be giving you more information as that becomes available. But so far, they appreciate everything that we've given them. Looks like I probably won't have to do any re-scanning. They've got pretty strict standards on how to scan that stuff. I got the brand new scanner that I bought to do the job, so anybody needs any scanning done, just get with me and you can use that. Any questions on that? I don't know of any new business. Anybody have any new business they would like to bring up?
You are scanning everything for the archive.
I did. I finished.
Yeah,
it. Yes. I did not have to buy the cutter. I was able to do that with tools I got at home. So it saved a little bit of money there. So this
Yeoman's work, Richard. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's fine. It was very interesting reading through some of those as I was cutting them up. So we'll have a lot of fun going back through them once they get posted. All right, so we will conclude the annual meeting. Start with our Adobe expert, Chita Hunter, is joining us virtually. And she'll be talking to us today about some Adobe apps and possibly some AI included in that. I'm not totally sure. So I will turn it over to Ms. Hunter.
Hello there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of your meeting. I know several of the people there, and they have always been very warm and welcoming to me. And I want to say hi to Lawrence, and I want to say hi to Tim. All right. Hey. All right. Thank you thank you very much for having me. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you will allow me to share my screen, I can't share my screen.
One moment.
I have no control.
I always forget where the heck that setting is. Security. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it should
Oh,
allow you
wonderful.
now.
Wonderful. I got it. Thank you so
Okay.
much. And who are you?
Oh, I'm Jonesy.
Hi, Jonesy. All right. My husband's best friend, we call him Jonesy as well. So we already know each other really well. All right. All right. Do you see my screen?
We sure
Yeah.
do.
All right. Wonderful. Again, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your meeting today and inviting me to speak with you and giving me such a warm and wonderful welcome. Very interesting that you were talking about AI today, because there have been some new features involved with Photoshop and Lightroom regarding AI. And so this just sort of falls right into what you were talking about today. And with the meeting today, I would love if you would talk to me. If you have questions, please ask. If you have any comments, please let me know. And let's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover Photoshop, and the new AI features in Photoshop are called Generative Fill and Generative Expand. And in Lightroom, there have been some really good advances in masking with AI. I'm going to go over two features that aren't really new. One is called sky replacement, and one is called liquefy face detection. They aren't new, but I think they'll be very useful to you. So when we go over anything and everything, if it's useful to you, let me know. All right? Okay. So who's handling questions today? Is there someone who's fielding them and then bringing them to me, or do you just like shout them out?
It'll be you.
It's me.
Who was
Raise
just
your hand.
volunteered
Wave
for
our
that?
hand.
All right.
Pass the microphone around for people who want to ask. Zoom allows you also to just send a chat either to everyone or to an individual. So that if that happens, go ahead and you can read that question off and answer it would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise I'll just pass the microphone around. People on Zoom just chime in.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And again, so let's get started. I'm going to start off with the two at the bottom. One is called sky replacement. Did anyone know that in Photoshop you can replace the sky in your images? Anyone?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. No.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone said no? Got to speak to me.
I know you can do it, but I don't know how.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. All right, so we're going to start in Photoshop. And I'm assuming you can all see my Photoshop screen. Yes?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. This is an image of a gentleman in some type of flying machine that I took this image last year when I was in a hot air balloon ride. If you haven't ever done that, that is an amazing experience. So give it a try. And it was a beautiful day, a little windy, and it was very tentative on whether or not we got up, but we eventually got up. And the sky was, it's beautiful and it's calm. But let's say, I wanted something else for this sky. It's sort of plain, not necessarily wrong, but let's just say you wanted something different. So in Photoshop, if you go to the edit menu and you select, and actually before I start that, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to take the lock off of the background. That's just a habit of mine. It makes it a fully editable layer. So just in case you don't want anything to go wrong. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to select sky replacement. I knew it was there. Okay. So once this panel opens up, it automatically detects the sky. And that is part of what has been in Photoshop for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, machine learning AI. So it's been around longer than you think, been used longer than you think. It's just that it's just made such a big impact or splash right now. But it's always been there. And Photoshop would call it machine learning. So with that, you have this panel that shows you all of these different types of presets for skies. And you can go through the presets to select any. You have blue skies, you have spectacular skies. And this selecting sky used to be something that was labor intensive. If any of you have ever done it in the past, it was labor intensive. You had to make a selection, pull in the sky, make a smart object or whatever. Now the app detects the sky for you. And you have some that the guy really would not have been going up on a day like that, but you can still add these spectacular skies anyway. So what do you think? Those of you who didn't know it was there or didn't know how to use it.
Thank
Well,
you.
doubly amazing because it also is detecting the flying machine.
Yes. Yes, it is masking out. It's not like it's covering him up and you have to mask him. It automatically knows what's there and to go behind him. And not only do you, who's the guy with the great voice? Who are you? I love that voice.
Who's that?
That's you.
Founding members.
Okay, all right. So anyway, and you can also add your own. If I go to this little gear right here, I'm going to select Get More Skies, and I can import images. And I'm going to import, let's see, Lightroom images, preset files. Where are you? Replace sky. And this one of these is an image that I actually created on my iPhone. And I'm going to select that.
Ooh.
And yeah, so driving down the street, pulled out my iPhone and took this picture. And you can bring in your own. So, if you have, I think we all as photographers have like a multitude of sky cloud images. So if you want to add your own, you can. And once you've added a sky, you can actually change, the fate. Now watch the horizon. You can see the horizon shift and soften a little bit. So you can, use these adjustment tools. You can move the sky around a little bit. Oops. Oh, just move the sky. There you go. You can move the sky around. So just imagine that. You can add your own sky or any of these skies and adjust them. And let's try this. I'm going to change the brightness a little bit. And there's one more that I particularly wanted to show. And let's see if I can, not color adjustment. You can change the scale. So I can increase the clouds, decrease them. So you get the idea. You can take an image that you've created and you can modify it with your own images. And a lot of things about AI, sorry, that's being talked about today is using, something else that maybe you don't know where it came from, or it's a summary of other people's stuff. This is taking your images and using your images with AI and not using someone else's material. So that's the one thing that I really like about some of these features here, is that it's using my stuff, my creativity, and it's helping me work faster. So I'm sorry?
You're in a balloon here above the ground. Do you know if the AI is able to take your altitude into account in determining the way the horizon works?
Is this a question for me, or are you asking a question?
Yeah, for you. Do you know if the AI is able to do that?
I can't really hear you.
So you're in the balloon, you're up at
Yes.
altitude. Is the AI able to take that into account in showing the horizon to you?
Is AI able to take that into account?
Right.
Take the fact that you're up in a hot air balloon?
Right. Because it looks a little bit different when you're up at altitude versus down on the ground, the horizon.
I'm trying to understand, what are you asking AI to do? Just know that you're up in the air?
Yes. Like, you're 200 feet in the air, so it's going to be slightly different. Does the AI know that?
I don't think so. No. No. I would just say no to that, because you really,
in this picture.
yes, yeah. If you were down on the ground, or whether you're up in a hot air balloon, you're still going to have a horizon period. And so the picture is just going to be the picture. So I don't think AI, that's really a computation that AI would take into account. Whether it can, I don't know. But at this point, I think you're really just looking at the picture and what vantage point it was taken from. Right. And so, say that again, please.
You can violate this picture with your manipulations.
Yes.
And so you have to use common sense, but you certainly can violate conventions and the way things really look by manipulating the picture. But
absolutely, you absolutely can. So, and you can do that, regardless of whether or not it's sky replacement or anything.
Yeah.
But luckily in this particular image, these are both images that I took. So I sort of take a little pride in the fact that it's not someone else amalgamation of, a bunch of other pictures. It's my images, my creation. So, but
we have a question here.
Sure, go ahead.
Hey there, Chita, this is Tim. I just
Hi,
wanted to ask,
Tim.
hello. I just wanted to ask you, have you any images that reflections, like you've taken this image over water, say for instance, and seen how AI affects the water with those clouds?
No, I have not, but we might be able to do something like that later. All right. So So hopefully,
I guess
seeing something like this can be useful to you when you're taking images that involve sky, and it may not necessarily be a particular sunny day or cloudy day. Like, for example, I have this image that I took long venue out toward a pier. I couldn't get any further. This area was boarded off. But let's say I wanted to change the mood of this image. And actually, let me do this. All right, set the background, change that, unlock it, edit, sky replacement. And when I change, and if you notice it, changing the sky in this particular image really changes the mood of this picture. And let's see, yeah, and let's see if I do something like this. You see how it really sort of feels, you know, sort of dark and gloomy now? And that is the intent with changing the sky. So, you know, you're, as someone said, you're not necessarily violating, but you're changing the whole emotional impact of the image. So that's the, you know, one of the good things or the changes that you can make with sky replacement. Not bad, not good, but you are exercising your creativity. All right.
It's doing a really great job at realizing all those different light posts and not like masking over them. That's very impressive.
Yes. And this is machine learning, AI, and this is something that has been in Photoshop for about 2 years now. So, all right. So I'm just going to OK. Now, once you choose OK, after you've been in sky replacement, I want you to look over here to the right. You get a new sky replacement group added to your layers panel. And it is a set of layers that has masked over. And actually, let me show you. I'm going to turn off the layer, and you can see how it actually masks my image to change the sky. And as you saw, excellent job. But after you select sky replacement, you get a whole set of the different layers here that achieved that result for you. So, and I have done sky replacement, you know, before. I've been working in Photoshop since Photoshop 1. And I can tell you that this particular advent in the technology is amazing compared to how you would have had to do this in the past. So, right. All right. Any questions? Any more questions on that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Good. Go ahead, please. Yes, I can.
Is it similar to the programs that are called Luminosity and
Luminar, and Luminosity?
one is called, I can't remember the name of it. That has clouds in it and you put it in your picture. Let me just see if
I would
forgot the name.
Yeah, any program that allows you to do a sky replacement is probably doing something similar. That's, you know, just the nature of how it is. How well it might do it. Now, even some of the lower end programs can do things like this that it just weren't possible for them to do previously. So if you can do sky replacement, add clouds, change clouds, it's doing something similar.
Yeah, it's called Affinity. Have you heard of Affinity?
Yes, Affinity. Yes, Affinity Photo. I've not done this in Affinity Photo. I actually do have that app. I have not played with it that much, but I'm sure it's something very similar.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're quite welcome. All right, go ahead.
Probably foolish. If an astronaut had a camera, can he take a picture from the lower?
I am so.
And the horizon was curved. Could you replace it with a cloudy sky, the dark night sky?
I am so sorry. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, but I can't hear you. I can't understand what you're saying. Can you I move closer or get a microphone?
Somebody gave me a mic.
Yeah, that's okay. Talk into that.
To where? All right. This is
Oh yeah.
nobody would want to do this, but if they wanted to put a sky with birds and clouds against a round earth background in an orbital picture, Could they do it in Photoshop? For bizarre?
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
that's all. It's,
Yeah.
nobody want to do that, I don't think, because the stars are good enough for me. Okay.
Absolutely. You know, I tell my clients you can do anything in Photoshop. So,
Yeah.
but what you're asking is really, I believe, pretty easy. So yes, definitely. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Okay.
We're all good.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So now this other feature that I wanted to show you, which isn't new, but very useful, is called face detection. Now, there is nothing wrong with this image, nothing at all. But I want to make a couple of tweaks to it. And if any of you do portrait photography or even, you know, family and friends, you might find this useful because we know that the camera, whether it be a video camera or a still camera, adds 50 pounds to everything. It, you know, we're not smiling when we should be smiling. We may have one eye closed. You know, we look at an image and we say, oh my God, do we really look like that? You know, so this is for you. So this is another feature that just used to be crazy hard to do in anything, regardless of Photoshop. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a smart object, and I'm going to show you why as soon as I do it. So I'm going to go to the filter menu and select Convert for Smart Filters. That actually changes the layer to a smart object. And a smart object is a feature that allows you to re-edit in a layer. So now I'm going to go back into the filter menu and I'm going to select Liquify. It's going to open in the Liquify window. Now I'm going to zoom in, and as I mouse over the faces, do you see the heads up displays, the on canvas displays that pop up?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. This used to be really challenging to do. But now with this guy, all I want to do is just make him smile just a little bit. So as I hover over his mouth, you see these icons pop up, and I can hold down my mouse and just ever so slightly make him smile. And that's all I want to do. I'm not going to, you know, I mean, I'm going to show you this. That's what it used to be. That's what it is now. Just subtle changes. These are the kinds of changes that you want to make to people's faces. You don't want to really make it so different that it doesn't look like him. You just want to change a little bit. And with the little lady here, her eye is closed just a little bit. So I'm going to drag this icon and just ever so slightly open up her eye. And I'm going to toggle on and off that preview. You see her eye is just a little larger. This young lady here, beautiful smile. But as I said, sometimes you think, I gained 50 pounds in this picture. So I'm just going to trim her face, her big smile, just ever so slightly. You can see me moving. And that's all I want to do. So I'm going to go from preview, not preview turned off, new changes. These are the kinds of things that you can do with this Liquify command that used to take a very long time to do prior. So I'm going to just choose OK.
Got a question from Ray?
Go ahead.
Chita, if you had another picture of this same group, could you move an eye from one to the other for correction?
You would have to first assume that one image is really correct. And yes, you could. You would have to create a mask. But the issue is that as faces are moved, changed, in whatever angle, you would have to make sure that when you brought that other eye over, that the angle is correct to the face. And if it's not, you would try to manipulate and skew and turn, and it would take hours to do that because I've done it. I know exactly what you're asking. you really don't want to do something like that. And yeah, because you can make it look really fake and unrealistic. So go ahead.
I hear what you say about the mask, but is it simply a matter of cutting and pasting because
No,
it's a smart object?
no, never. Smart object and cutting and pasting, no. Um, you really never want to cut and paste because then you're going to have hard edges. You're going to have to soften those edges. So you never want to cut and paste.
I thought the liquefy would take care of that. That was exactly why I thought it might be possible because of the liquefy.
No, no. No, you don't want to do it the way you're asking.
Okay, thanks.
You're going to run into a bunch of problems and errors that you don't see coming. And angle, skin tone, you'd be amazed how skin tone changes from half an inch in whatever direction. So you're going to have skin tone changes, you're going to have angle changes, you're going to have perspective changes. So no, you don't want to really ever cut and paste anything like that. And yeah, so you've been warned. You proceed at your own risk. You have been warned. You will alienate the people who you are manipulating. They will not speak to you after that. All right. So the reason I changed it to a smart object, when I say that you can edit a smart object, this is what I mean. First of all, let me show you the changes. I'm in the layers panel. I'm going to turn off the visibility of the changes I made. This is what it looked prior to my changes, and these are my changes now. Very subtle. Those are the kinds of changes you want to make to a face. Converting this layer to a smart object allows me to do this. If I had not converted this layer to a smart object, these changes would have been permanent. They would have been baked into the layer. When you convert something to a smart object, if I come back over to the layers panel and double click on liquefy, it takes me back into that liquefy panel. And if I want to make any changes, I can. Whereas if this weren't a smart object, I could not. So that's what being a smart object does. It allows you to go back and make additional changes, but not cut and paste. All right. All right. So do you see where this could be useful?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Got those
All right.
holiday portraits coming up.
I'm sorry?
Got the holiday portraits coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Remember, you don't want to alienate anybody. So do it subtly, gently, and then don't tell them you did it. Okay.
Right.
There you go. All right. All right. So now those are two features that have been in Photoshop for quite some time, but not a lot of people knew they were there or knew how to use them. So you have now been equipped with tools to make things better. So with that, I'm not going to go to this one. I sent this picture to Richard because this is one that I was going to edit during this presentation. The new features in Photoshop with generative fill allow you to take out areas that you no longer want, or, I got a radio tower next to my hot air balloon. Who wants to see that? Nobody wants to see that. But first, let me show you something new in Photoshop. I'm going to go to the window menu and all the way down to contextual taskbar. This is a new tool in Photoshop. And this little tool is a little taskbar that is there to sort of show up underneath your tools, to bring tools to where your mouse is so that you can quickly get from one tool to another or have quick commands, right at your mouse.
You just show us again where you started that?
Yes, you can go to the window menu
window.
And down to contextual taskbar.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And if you just opened this, I actually closed it to before this presentation. But if you've opened this, you may find that this taskbar may jump around on your screen. It's not jumping around on mine, but it possibly may jump around on yours. So if you go to the ellipse at the very end here, you can click on pin bar position. So I want to make sure that it always shows below, down at the bottom of my screen. When this first came out, to me, it just got in the way. And you can either hide it or you can show it, you can pin it so it's sort of not in the way. So now that you know one of the new features of Photoshop, I want to show you how you can use this contextual taskbar. So the idea here is I don't want this radio tower in my image. So I'm going to go to the lasso tool in the toolbar, and I'm just going to make a lasso around this radio tower. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, once I do that, if you look down at the contextual taskbar, it now says generative fill. So I'm going to click this command. And two things happen here. A text field sort opens up here. We're going to leave that text field empty because leaving it empty actually does something. When you leave it empty, it takes a look at what you circled and it analyzes this area. If you put something in there, you'll get totally different results than what you thought you'd get. And we're going to talk about that soon. So we're going to leave it empty. I'm going to select the button at the end, generate. It analyzes the area that's selected. And this is what you will get as soon as it's done analyzing. Boom. What do you think?
Thanks, hello.
Yeah. So let me zoom in over there and you see that that radio tower is now gone. And again, AI, it helps you do things a lot quicker because the tools prior to this took a little work. So now let me show you what it's done. Over in the layers panel, you now have a new generative fill layer. In the properties panel, let me pull this out so you can see. It has given you three things in the properties panel. It's given you three different versions of what it did. So let's move this out of the way so you can see. And you can also get to those three different versions here. 1, 2, 3. Every time you do a generative fill, it will give you three versions. So you can choose the one you like. So this is what you see is the first version. I'm going to click on the arrow. Now you see the second version. Click on the arrow again, and now you see the third version. So let's go through those again. Here's 1, first, 2, and 3. So you can decide which one you want to use. And I think 1, you think 1 looks better, the best? Okay. So now, I'm sorry?
They're all good.
I agree. They are all good. And sometimes it's really hard to choose. So if you didn't necessarily like those three, you could actually regenerate them again. But I'm going to do that in another example. So it gives you three different versions of what it generated. I'm going to keep 1. I'm going to keep the number 1 version. So I'm going to delete the second and the third version because keeping these actually increases the size of your file. So you don't want to keep any that you don't want, but you can, regenerate. And that's what this layer is for. It allows you to continue to regenerate if you don't like what you get. So let's keep that and let's slide this over. I'm going to put it right there and let's open that up so we can see the changes when they're made. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to get this larger area with all of the buildings down here. So let's make an outline around this big area.
Ooh.
And let's see, yeah, let's give it some heavy lifting to do. So now back down to generative fill, select the command, don't enter anything, and then select generate. It's going to analyze the surrounding pixels, and it's going to fill in the area that's selected. Let's see what it fills in that area with. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's version 1. That's version 2. And that's version 3. Yeah, 1 and 2. 2 is great. So we're going to delete 3 and delete 1. But amazing. So let me show you. Those are the areas. Those are the generative layers that were created. This is the second. This is the first one. And my original is still there. My original still isn't touched. But these new layers are created atop of it. So you still have your choice. Isn't that just too cool?
That's cool.
Yes, that is too cool.
Do you now flatten the image?
No.
Thank you. No. And I'll tell you, I don't flatten anything in Photoshop. If I want let's say a separate image with the flattened version, I'll export it out as a JPEG or PNG. I don't flatten my Photoshop files. This is just me, because maybe I want to come back and edit the file. If you flatten it, you can't come back and edit the file. So, you can, it's entirely up to you, but I don't flatten the file. So I can save this out. If I save this out as a PNG, it saves it out as it looks now, and it will flatten, and that PNG will be this image, but that still gives me my original Photoshop file saved with all of the layers. So that's how I work. Okay. All right, cool. Any other questions about this before we move on?
Great.
Okay, wonderful. All right, we're going to leave that open. And now we're going to go to this one. All right, so let's see if I can move this over out of the way so you can see what I'm going to do next. So with this image, I took this image in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We were at a Mini Cooper rally event for the weekend. I want to add more image to the left-hand side. So I'm going to select the crop tool, and I am going to expand out to the left about so far. Whoops, I forgot to do something. So let me go back and let me start this from the beginning. I know. Let's start back at opening. Let's cancel that. And I need to unlock the layer. All right, great. So now that the layer is unlocked, let's try that again. And crop tool. And let's expand that out. The generative fill taskbar has automatically detected that I want to add to this. And at this point, and actually let me, I'll show you what that said in a second. It instead of reading generative fill, it actually read generative expand. It knew once I pulled out the crop tool to add more canvas, it knew that I wanted to do that. So let me cancel that for a second. I have to back up a lot here. So here it is. It says generative expand, not generative fill. So let's, for the third time, expand that canvas. And let's go down to the prompt. We're not going to add anything in there, but we are going to just click on the generate button. It's going to analyze what's on the right-hand side. And as soon as it's done analyzing, it is then going to fill in the left-hand side of the image.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that cool? So that's my first version. That's my second version. And here's my third version. Okay. Now, this isn't always perfect, and sometimes you may see areas that you don't like. For example, and I may have to zoom in to show this to you. Go ahead.
Horizon is a little crooked.
That actually was on the first one. So that's like a distortion. That's not no, on the addition is actually straight, but I want to show you something else maybe you can catch. And let's go here. Can you sort of see this seam? See where I'm pointing? You actually see a seam. Can you vaguely see that?
Yes.
A little seam. Yeah,
Bag.
yeah. Not that noticeable, but noticeable. So what do you do when you see something like that? I'm going to zoom back out. You have everything else that is created. You have your new generative expand layer. You have your 3 versions that you're given. But again, there's this little seam. I like this, but I see that little seam. So I'm going to get the lasso tool and I'm going to make a little selection just around that area. And now it says generative fill. Generative fill, generate, and it's just now going to work on that little bitty area that I've selected.
Upsetting.
Yeah, and once it's done, boom, much better. So here's the first, second, third, but now that little seam is gone. So if you don't like something, just circle it and regenerate it. And it'll give you a different result. And you can also come over to the properties panel and you can generate from this button here, and it will continue to generate 3 more examples and 3 more examples until you delete the ones you don't want. But if you don't like the area, just circle it, generate it again. Cool.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
What I did the other day, and kind of in the same vein, when you expanded that out, you added pixels to make that work. It added pixels.
It added pixels, yes.
Right. So I had a picture that I had taken me underwater, and it was on it was on smaller pixels, and I wanted to blow it up. Does it have the ability to add pixels to a picture? So it'll fill out a little better.
Okay, it's good, very good question. So what happens when it adds this extra area? If I zoom in, you might see that the left side is a little softer than the right side. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you do, if you want to expand something like that and make sure it's clearer, because generative fill regenerates pixels at 1024 by 1024. So what has been recommended is that you create, and let me do this. Let me start this again. Let me go back to open. And so what they recommend in crop, I'm just going to expand it now. I'm not going to do a generative fill. I'm just going to expand it. Let's cancel. I just want you to expand, not fill. So let's do it again. I don't want you to, there you go. Okay, stop. I don't want you to, okay, hold on. I want to increase the canvas size. Let's increase the canvas size. I want to increase the left-hand side. Let's increase it by about, let's go 3 inches. And let's choose okay. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm sorry. Try that again. Canvas size. I want to
I'm not
increase.
the only one that does that.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter how much you know. You can increase it. I changed it to 2 instead of 12 So it shrunk it instead of
Right.
increased it. Yeah, so we're going to increase the width. Now it's going to increase on the right-hand side. I want it to grow on the left-hand side. There you go. There you go. All right. So what they recommend that you do, and let's see, I need a shape tool. I'm going to create a shape tool. I'm going to go to the rectangle tool. I'm going to create a shape that's a rounded rectangle, but that'll be okay. And I don't know what it's giving me width and height. I should have asked it to give it to me in pixels. But what you want to do, you want to create a rectangle that's 1024 by 1024. And let me do something. Let me change that to pixels. Let me do this again. Let me delete you. Okay, now that you've been changed to pixels, let's go back to this shape. And now, let's say this is going to be 1024. And you can see that my canvas is actually smaller than what it should be. But I'm going to change this to as close to 1024 as I can, because I'm going to use it. So if I create, let's say I create a shape that's 1024 by 1024, and I'm doing it this way so that I can get it exactly the shape that I want. And I need to take off the curves. There you go. All right, so now I'm just going to command click this so that it makes that rectangle for me. I'm going to save this rectangle, save selection. We're going to call this a square. That's Q-U-A-R-E. And I do know how to spell. A-R-E. Okay. This way I can use it again. So let's say my canvas is a lot larger than this. I want to take this rectangle and put it here. And now when I select generative fill and generate, it's going to generate one area at a time. I'm telling it to generate one area at a time, but the resolution in each area is going to be sharper. So you see how it's much sharper than it was before?
Yeah.
So that's how you can take a larger image and make the resolution better when you regenerate. Right?
Great, man.
Thank you.
Okay. So Lawrence, let me know how that works for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this one?
Are you going to put a seashell on the beach with generative?
I'm going to leave this open, and we're going to come back and do that because that's sort of in the presentation. All right, so I'm going to leave that as is, and we're going to move on to the next one. And the next one is this. So another hot air balloon image. And I'm actually, I believe in this balloon right here where you see the shadow on the greenery. So let's do this. Let's open this up. Now, the reason for expanding this image is I really want the whole picture of the hot air balloon, not just part of it. So I'm going to expand, and sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. Sorry. Take the lock off of the background. It does make a difference. So now let's expand about to there, and let's generate. And let's see what it gives me. Fantastic day, good weather, half of a balloon. Now I got the whole balloon.
Wow.
Let's see what versions I have. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3.
1.
Nice. So I had half an object and I wanted the whole object. And Photoshop generated the whole object for me. Too cool?
Cool.
That's
All
amazing.
right. I'm sorry?
I said, that's amazing.
Isn't, oh, let's do amazing one up. So let's go to my next image. You know, I take shots and I keep them. And sometimes they're not the best shots in the world, but that's okay. I can find a use for them. So here, I'm going to crop this and I'm going to enlarge the canvas. No, you haven't unlocked it yet, so hold on. Cancel. Somebody remind me.
Unlock
Chita? Thank you. Unlock the background before you do this. Thank you very much. All right, that's your job going forward now until I'm done with this. All right, so now I'm going to increase the size of the canvas. There we go. About yay. Because I want it to give me the whole flower. Generate. And let's see what it does. And it's got to think about this one because I'm asking a lot of it. I've made that canvas quite large. My image. So I'm not taking anybody else's idea or thoughts. This is mine. And it's thinking hard. Boom. I get the whole flower and I get background. So now let's see the versions that it gave me. That's version 1. Here's version 2. Here's version 3 coming up. And this is a DNG image, so it did a lot of work here. I like 3 much better. It really isolates it and it gives that blurry bokeh background. So you can take images where items have been cut off and generate the entire image from it. So,
Right.
How much processing
yes.
power does it take to do that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Processing power.
All I can tell you is that I'm doing this on a MacBook Pro M2 Max, and I have 96 gigabytes of RAM. Now, that's me, and that's for what I do. So if you have less, it will probably take longer, a little longer. I couldn't tell you, but because, and also because this image is a DNG, yes, it's taking a considerable amount of processing power, but you know, it does it. So your speed and your timing and your performance may vary, but
No
you know,
problem. M1.
Today, 12 p.m. Suggested location home.
was that a question?
No,
Oh, was that Siri? Okay.
Siri
All
going
right.
rogue.
Okay, Siri going rogue, not unknown. All right, now let's take this one better. Let's go to File. Let's go to New. I'm going to create a new file. White background, and let's go. All right. And let's unlock the background layer. I remembered.
Yay.
I remembered. Okay, yeah. All right, so now I'm going to select all. And I'm going to select generative fill here. But this time, I'm going to type in misty ocean, spell it correctly, with ship in background. Yep, got that right. And then I'm going to select generate. This time I've told it what I want. Instead of it looking at surrounding pixels, I've told it what to generate.
Wow.
All right, so here's version 1. Version 2, barely can see that ship back there. And version 3. That's neat. Yeah. All right, which version shall I keep?
First one.
Probably 1.
Here's 1.
Yes, 1.
Here's 2. Here's 3.
3.
1. Okay, I hear more 1s. Okay, all right, so let's go with 1. All right, now I'm going to make a selection. just an odd shape, probably too oddly shaped, but let's leave it at that. Okay, what should I put in here? Someone give me an example, an idea.
A buoy.
A buoy?
A buoy.
B-O-U-Y. Okay, a buoy. All right, we're going to go for buoy. Generate. And it's thinking, it's thinking. It's probably going to be a big one since I made a big selection. Okay, I don't know what that is. All right, so that's version 1. That's version 2. And that's version 3. That doesn't look like a buoy to me. Did I spell it wrong?
D-O-Y.
I spelled it correctly, and it gave me a bird.
Call
Okay.
Photoshop and tell them to add buoy.
Yes. All right. So I don't like any of those. So let's delete that one. Let's delete that one. And let's delete that one. And let's make another selection. And all right, give me something else.
A rowboat.
A mermaid.
Rowboat. Okay. And let's generate. And hopefully we'll have better success here. Okay. Version 1, version 1, version 2, and version 3. Interesting, because I didn't say people. I just said rowboat. So let's say I don't like any of those. I'm going to come over here to the properties panel. I'm going to select generate. It's going to generate again. And it should give me 3 new versions. All right, so that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. I like that one better.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to delete all of the, I'm going to delete the others to keep my file size down. But in this manner, and you can keep going. Let's add one more thing. Let's put a selection in there. And what shall I fill it with?
Well.
Whale.
Well,
All right. All right. Someone said whale. Whale got it first. Okay. And let's see what we get. And version 1, version 2, version 3. So this is the new AI features in Photoshop. This is generative fill and generative expand. And hopefully you can play around with them and find some good uses for them. But you see in manners that I've shown you, like with the sky and with the pier and with the hot air balloons, you can see that they can be very useful features to you that don't take away from your creativity, but actually enhance them. So, all right.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right. All right. I still got Lightroom. Do I have time or are we out of time?
It's up to you.
I say I can forfeit time for Lightroom.
Okay.
I have a question for you to ask Adobe. You may not know it because it's not Photoshop. I went to it. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I went to Adobe conference and they had XML book that would take apart and put together. You'd flip a button and it would give you instructions to take apart and put together.
Yes.
You asked them if they followed up on that project. It was long ago I attended that.
I
don't
can't.
know, but ask them.
I don't. You have no idea how many people work on what particular module. All of these programs are worked on in modules, and someone working. So yeah, someone working on one module may not even be talking to someone working in another module down the road.
It's a society of mind, like
there you go. There you go. All right. So let's move on to showing you, and thank you for the question. Let's go on to showing you a couple of new features in Lightroom. As you may have imagined and can gather here, I love taking images of flowers. So here's my orchid. And what I want to show you is a couple of the new masking features in Lightroom. So with my image here, let's go over to the right-hand side. You have your masking icon. You have a bunch of tools up at the top here, but we're going to go over masking. And so I'm going to click the masking button, and you have new features here: subject, sky, and background. So if you're not working in Photoshop, if you're just working in Lightroom, you can actually work with masking sky here as well. So I'm going to mask the background. Just click the button and it automatically detects what it considers to be the background. So can you imagine the time it would have taken for me to mask all of these little ridges here? So it does a really good job. It did miss a couple areas, like back here. This is filled in with a mask, and this little area here are filled in with a mask. So I need to subtract the mask from those areas. So I'm going to go here to the mask panel, click on subtract, and select brush from here. And with that, it gives me a brush, and I'm just going to quickly and very loosely brush over the areas that shouldn't be masked. It's not going to be perfect because we're running out of time, or we have run out of time, but just to give you an idea. And let's do here. All right, so now I have that mask. So what I want to do really is darken the background because I want this orchid to stand out a little more. So I'm going to come over to the panel here. You have different options. And first of all, let me show you. This is the area in the back that I want to mask. I'm just turning off the overlay so that you can see what's happening as I'm doing this. So I'm going to just turn down the exposure. So now my orchid stands out far more than it did previously. So this is the before and this is the after. And I can tell you this is just amazing. It's amazing to me as well. It's just amazing. So now I actually want to increase the brightness of the orange that's in the orchid. So I'm just going to go down here to the point color panel. I'm going to click on the eyedropper tool. And now I'm going to go over to the image, and I want to click on the orange. So it gives me this little color picker area, and I'm going to increase the luminosity shift. That's this here. And just ever so slightly, just increase it just a little bit. I'm going to decrease it. Hold on, something is not showing up. Okay. All right, let's try that again because that is not showing. Oh, I'm sorry. I need it to go here. So I'm going to click, I need to get out of the mask. Sorry. So click on the edit menu and go to color mixer. This eyedropper here in point color. So now I'm going to click on that eyedropper and click on the orange. And now when I go to luminosity shift, it's going to increase. You can see I'm increasing or decreasing. So I'm going to increase and brighten that up a little bit. So to show you the before and the after. And just subtle, very subtle changes can make a big difference in how your images are portrayed before and after. So hopefully this is a quick, feature to show you that how you can use it, but it can be very, make your images very pronounced in the areas you want to highlight. All right. What do you think?
Good. Excellent.
All right.
Very nice.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you this one. In this particular image, we have a problem with color cast because the area on her face, you can see the green on her face. So what we want to do is remove that. So I'm going to go back to the masking icon over to the right, click on mask. And I want you to notice it has already detected, if you just briefly saw that for a second, it automatically detected that there was a person in this image. I'm going to click on that and it gives you options. I can either mask the entire person to make changes, or I can work with different areas. So I'm going to click on facial skin, body skin, eyebrows, eyes, iris, everything on her face. I'm going to leave the hair alone. So once I do that, let's go back because I have, once I do that and tell Lightroom the areas that I want to work on, you click here, create mask button. It creates a mask of these particular areas. Now I want to go to the point color eyedropper tool, click there, and I'm going to click over here on the tone of her skin, which has the green in it. And I'm going to zoom, not just yet. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So over here in the color picker area, this is showing what's clicked on. I'm going to take this and just move this around ever so slightly and just down just a little bit. So now here's the before, you see the green tones, and here's the after. So I've taken that green color cast out of her skin. So again, subtle changes that you can do to make the images a lot better. All right. Pretty good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. I am going to now show you another one with the balloons. And so let's reset that and let's move on. And this one, you see more of my balloon images. So I'm going to
unlock it.
I'm in Lightroom. I don't have to unlock it. Thank you, though. I like that. So now I just want the balloons, and I want to see how I can just get the balloons and mask the balloons to brighten them up a little bit without getting anything else. So if I come over to the subject mask, and I can go down and I can select objects. If I click on objects, it then gives me a brush, and I'm going to make that brush a little smaller. And I just start brushing over the balloons. And it's going to analyze. I want to get this one. And let's see if it gets me that one. And it's going to analyze the areas. And it gave me just the balloons. That's crazy easy, where it wasn't before. So now you see the mask on and off. I'm going to turn the mask, the overlay off so you can see. I'm going to go now over to the right-hand side, and I'm going to increase the shadows. What that is going to do is lighten up the shadow areas. And you don't want it to be garish. So it's just a very subtle change. And then increase the exposure just a little bit. Too much, just a little bit. So I brightened up the balloons. Here's the before and here's the after, and that's actually a little too much. So let's tone that down just a little bit. But I wanted to bring the balloons out of the darkness, and even that's still a little too much. But you get the idea, the before and the after, if you want to really brighten something up and let them come out. All right. Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, and this one's next. This is a crazy, interesting feature that's been added to Lightroom. All right, so now in this particular image, and I want to, okay, got to bring it in. In this particular image, everything is in focus. I want to decide for myself what's in focus and what's not in focus. And they've developed for Lightroom, and I believe it's in Photoshop, and it's also in some of the mobile apps as well. It's a lens blur feature. So I'm going to go here over to the right, click on the edit, and let's travel all the way down to the bottom here. And I'm going to select lens blur. It says early access because if you have this app, it allows anyone to use it while it's still in development. So I'm going to choose apply, and it's going to analyze, and it's initially going to give me what it feels might or may not be in focus. So it didn't do too much of a change. So I'm going to change. And if I move this back and forth, you'll see the background is blurring a little more. And now the foreground, not at all. So let's do this. I'm going to go down to this little, I'll call it a little ramp right down here. And I'm going to change how wide this is. And now the foreground is not in focus. I'm going to move this to the right, and you'll see the foreground blur some more. If I move this to the left, you'll see the background blur, and the foreground is in focus. So I'm effectively changing the focal length of this image, and I'm deciding what areas I want focus and what areas I want blurred. And let's narrow that just a little bit. I'll get more blur to the background. Now remember, this entire image is all in focus. Now it's not. And they've even had a little bit of a color correction on it as well. So I can also, let's take that back there. I can paint into what areas I want in focus or blurred. So I'm going to click focus. I get a brush and I can say, hey, I want this in focus as well. Give me this sign back here in focus. So I'm really brushing focus in to the areas I want in focus. So this is, a tremendously helpful feature for you to create your own, depth of field images.
Please
So,
comment.
I'm sorry?
Please let me make comment.
Please, yes.
Pro has a focus mechanism. They do eye tracking. And when you look at something, they call it focusing. And your stuff could do that, integrate with Apple. Their software. You could have the Vision Pro, have an image like this, and the eye gazing at something will bring it into focus with AI.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, that really concludes my presentation. I thank you for letting me take somebody else's time to show this to you, but hopefully you've seen something that you might use. Hopefully you've enjoyed my presentation, and I thank you for being very active with me.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining
Appreciate it.
us, and hopefully we
Oh,
can do it
yes.
again sometime.
See you.
Oh, absolutely. Okay,
so.
I'm gonna hang around because I got a couple of messages here to me, and I want to see if I can, if I need to answer any. So I'm going to stop share of my screen and let you have it back.
Okay.
See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Okay.
All right, while she's doing that, we can either take a quick break, or Jonesy, if you want to go into your Mac help desk, we can do that.
We can jump in if you all want to.
Mike here if you want it.
Okay, I have been told several times in the past I am loud enough. So does everybody can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to do this without the mic on there. And let's see here. Where shall we start? That's always the question. So I guess I'll open it up if anyone has any general Mac questions that we can attempt to answer, or if there's also any general questions about any of the new Macs that were released around Halloween. But Lawrence has some, so Lawrence, what's your question?
Just to go back, this is a real easy one.
Oh.
Could you bring up the Safari and then look in file and just create a doc so we show you what we were talking about earlier. So if you go down and down further and say add to doc, keep going.
Oh, okay.
Hit that.
Oh, so let's say, for example, I wanted to make ACD.us.
Right.
I wanted to add this website to the doc. So I could do that. So I can click on file, I can click on add to doc. And what's really cool about this feature is even if the website has assigned a fav icon or the icon that you see when you visit the website, it will actually put that in the little icon as well. I'm going to leave the title where it's at, but you can even, like, let's say you already know it's the Apple Core DAO, so you can even make it shorter. You can just say ACD on there and click on add. And you'll notice here on the left-hand side, it's added a little dock icon now with the fav icon that we've set to the ACD, which I might add, we need to update for the most current Apple Core logo. That's a vintage logo, if I might say to myself. And you can do this on any website that you like. Ray.
You did that real fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do it again.
Okay. And you know what? I forgot to install Mouse Pose on this Mac to do the really cool kind of zoom in feature on there. But let's remove it from the dock.
Okay.
And while we're at it, for those of y'all, because every now and then I run into some Apple users that don't realize you can customize the dock and change things around. So if you ever want to remove an icon from the dock, it is simple as just dragging it out of the dock. Now, I will also say I'm one of those weird people that have their dock on the left side of the screen, not the bottom. That's another thing to consider. I like it on the left-hand side so I can, expand my windows to the top and bottom of the screen. But if you want to remove an icon, let's say, in this case, I want to remove the ACD icon here. You just need to drag it anywhere onto the desktop. Eventually, you'll see a little remove appear above the icon, and then just let go. You'll hear it go whoosh, and it's gone. So I want to do that again. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to click on Add to Dock. It's going to bring up a little information for me here. Again, I can name it something different, so I'll just make it short, ACD, and then just click on Add.
Oh, okay.
And there it is. There it is again. It's back in the dock. And then once it's in the dock, you can click and drag. Whoop.
Okay.
You can click and drag.
All right.
Normally, you can click and drag. Well, you'll have to take my word for me. You could also click and drag it and move it up and down the dock if you ever needed to.
You're a beautiful lady.
Version of operating system do you have to do that?
Sonoma.
Yeah, macOS Sonoma, which is right now the current version of macOS. And if you have a Mac that supports it, you can download it through your software update area. It'll usually, when you go into your settings and then go into software update, it will usually prompt you if you want to jump from an older version over to the current version. Again, yes, Ray.
One of the things about Safari now that is bugging me, and it seems like it's gotten worse. I wonder if it's something on my computer. The little pop-ups that are supposed to be helpful. Like if you try to if you need to type in your email address, well, there's a little pop-up and it will help you. But there's also a million other pop-ups, phone number, address, and they get in the way, and I cannot get them to go away. Now, it seems like that's gotten worse, and I'm just wondering why.
Well, the why question almost sounds like a question for the developers.
Yeah. Maybe I just wondered if it's something in the way I have it set up in Safari. Where do you turn those on? And
Ray, I have the same
so when you have Safari open, you can go and click on Safari in the menu bar, click on Settings. And then in all the menu options that you have, you'll have the autofill option. And if you just don't use autofill at all, you can turn all these different ones off. So The autofill will, by default, it pulls information from your contacts or address book that's built into macOS. It pulls in usernames and passwords that you've saved in your keychain, if you're saving things to keychain. Credit cards, if you have that set up with your Apple Pay settings and money, and then other types of forms. Now you can go in here like in usernames and passwords, and you can click on edit, and you do need to authenticate yourself. But you can kind of go in here and browse all the information it's pulling from. Like, for example, I probably can remove some of this Twitter stuff since I've removed my Twitter accounts. But you'll notice that there's all the information it's pulling from. You can go in here and kind of trim it and work with it if you need to.
Okay, that may be, I just need to go in and edit those and maybe turn some of them off.
And
Okay.
it might also be helpful to go into your contact card and address book and make sure all that information is correct. So if it's pulling up other emails that you don't want in there, you might trim or prune your address book if it has maybe old emails or emails you don't really want in your address book personally. Same thing with phone numbers and other contact information too.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay, shoot. What's the question?
I think I reversed it on mine. I had switched to iPhone 15, and I had a switch to a paired MacBook M2, MacBook Pro M2, and the time machine backup. But it did not. When I added my own audio files from my Logic Pro and stuff into the music library, that didn't go back in to my music library. And when I had from ages past, all these music clips I got from something called ITV that wires into your TV aerial, and then you get snippets. They're all gone. Things that I got from CDs are gone in my backup. So maybe the backup, I know with the music, I back it up to the iCloud, and the iCloud doesn't accept many CDs that I imported as part of my library. Maybe there's an iCloud.
These writings on your phone?
Huh?
They were originally on your phone?
Yeah, they were originally on my phone and my Mac.
And I don't know, I don't know if Chita's still listening, but she is gonna give a demonstration of an application through the neighborhood might be called iAmazing. I don't know if you've heard of that. No. iAmazing is an application you can get to dissect all kinds of things and download all kinds of things from your previous or present phone that like
I don't have my previous phone anymore. I gave that to traders for
Okay.
But maybe maybe this iAmazing will work with the time machine. If the time machine is stored that.
Okay. So
no, we have worked with physical device, but it's amazing that you can save things off your phone with this. That's why I call it iAmazing. You can save individual voicemail, do all kinds of things you can't ordinarily do with, iTunes or Finder or something. And I'm sure Jones is aware of iAmazing.
I use it because you recommended in our user group.
So
Chita, are you still listening?
I'm still listening. I can barely hear the conversation.
right, oh, go ahead.
What I was talking about was, I know you're going to give a presentation in the future on iAmazing.
iAmazing, yes.
Right. We had a question here in the room about recovering some information off of an old phone that did not transfer to the new phone. And I was curious if that was a topic that you were familiar with.
Do you know what that piece of information is?
He was explaining that there were.
It sounds like it was audio clips from like Logic.
I didn't have the old button.
You absolutely would be able to. Well, let me take that back. I believe you would be able to
Right.
recover that using iMazing. You could use it now. And did you ever consider attaching it to your computer, attaching the iPhone to your computer via a cable and seeing if it will let you get into that file system? Because sometimes prior to all of this, there was iTunes, which allowed you to go into your phone and actually pull out some of the files. And there still may be access that way. But I'm
Both my
very
devices, my MacBook Pro and my iPhone were wiped because I got a new iPhone and I got a wet motherboard in my Mac, and they put in a new motherboard and wiped the drives.
Yep.
So there's no way to transfer from one to the other or the other to the one because they both lost it.
No, if you that should not hamper you being able to connect that phone and still accessing
to the Mac, but they ain't nothing there from the last version of them.
The only thing he has of backup is his time machine. Everything else is gone.
it doesn't have to be a backup. If he connects it to if he connects the phone to his computer, he should still be able to see what's on the phone. That has nothing to do with the backup.
He doesn't have
nothing on the phone.
He doesn't have that computer.
There's not.
That's why.
No, he's saying. Is someone saying there's nothing on the phone?
He doesn't have that computer anymore or that phone anymore. They gave it to Apple.
Both pieces of the hardware are damaged, so therefore he doesn't have the originals.
Yeah. So all he has is time machine backup.
Oh, he has a time machine backup.
That's it. That's all.
The time didn't do my files.
Oh, well. And okay. Full disclosure, thank you. And if you you can go into that time machine backup, but you don't want to and you shouldn't.
Oh.
You could actually copy something off of that time machine backup. If you do anything other than copy it, that time machine backup will then become corrupt and you'll never be able to get back in there. So you're toast. Okay. So you have no recourse here.
So I can copy from a time machine backup. If it's even there, I don't know.
You don't see it.
That is correct. You don't know if it's there. So yeah, so I advise you not to go into that time machine backup at all.
Okay.
Chita, while you're here, can you do a quick spiel? I every time I come, I try to give an advertisement to the Naples User Group because I think it's obviously a fantastic organization. And Jonesy's brought up on the screen your presentation on iAmazing. Can you give a little quick spiel on that? On both the Naples group and the classes, perhaps?
Okay, yeah, it is a class. It's not going to be a presentation. It's actually a class. And in order to participate in the classes, you do have to be a member. We do our best, like every user group. We try to do things that our membership can use. We try to educate you on Apple products, on the latest and what's really important, and also anything that's coming down the pike. We have 42 meetings a year, every Wednesday from 11:30 Eastern time until 12:45. And we really have a good time. We do our best to make it as pleasant and enjoyable as possible. We encourage your interaction, but we also have speakers from all over the world, actually, if we can get them, and they come and they talk about a great deal of their products. We have I'm doing iAmazing, but we have people who were former Apple developers coming in. We have Joe Kissel coming in. And, just like you, we try to get, presenters to come in and just give us as much information as possible. With this iAmazing class, as I said, you have to be a member in order to participate within the classes. But this is a program that I've been wanting to get into for quite some time because I think it's so helpful. At one point, I've used this to pull messages, iMessages, off of my iPhone and export a PDF of the entire thread. It actually was a thread of a good friend who passed away. I wanted to remove the thread from my iPhone, but I didn't want to delete it. I wanted to have it. With iMazing, I'm able to export that entire thread out as a PDF and keep it safe. I've used iMazing to pull songs off of an iPod because if you know, and I don't know if it's still the same, but it used to be that if you connected an iPod to a computer and they didn't have the same songs, one got wiped. The iPod usually was the one that got wiped. I was able to connect and pull the tunes off of the iPod with iMazing and put them onto their computer so they would have them. So this app allows you to do things that you cannot do natively with any other app. Apple itself won't let you get in with some of these features. Now, this is not jailbreaking because the iMazing developer, DigiDNA, they actually work very closely with Apple in order to do some of the things that they do. So it's they have Apple's blessing in what they do. So it's a very good program. I'm sorry, very good application. So I've been wanting for quite a while to teach this because I think that the app is really amazing. It's called iMazing.
Membership is to the Naples Mac user group is very reasonable. I think it's $30 a year.
Correct.
The classes are $24, $25.
$25 each.
Right. And if you purchase a certain number, I'm trying to remember how many that is, you get one for free.
Correct.
Yeah.
There are 10 classes. If you purchase 9, you get the 10th one free.
And it's a very worthwhile organization. There you go, right there. Very worthwhile organization, very educational. Every time I'm on with them, I learn something. I think I know a lot, but whenever I'm on there, I always learn something.
So do I. So do I. It's good to be open to learning, absolutely. So
and if I may even promote myself, I actually am going to present coming in March my failed terminal presentation that I gave earlier in the year because I couldn't get the equipment to work properly. But yeah, it's a wonderful organization. I would encourage everyone here to look into to joining another user group and really support them all, for the most part.
Yes. Because they all can give you different levels of education on anything, and you learn something no matter what level you are. So I think it's and I'm a member of, I believe, 3. At one time I was a member of 6 at one time, but you learn so much. Yeah,
I'm a member obviously of a Fort Worth group and also the Dallas group here and also Naples. I always try to promote the Naples group because I think it's just every time I'm on Wednesday, it's amazing that there's at least 140 people on one.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can't thank you enough for joining us. It was an awesome presentation, Chita.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say my goodbyes again. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the invitation to present to your group. I hope you got a lot out of what I've covered today. And let me know how it goes with some of these. All right. All right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you again. Be well, everyone. Take care. I'll see Tim and Lawrence. I'll see you two later, and hopefully you'll invite me back, and we'll do something else. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Chita, I sent you a text of a link about making books with XML. And so maybe you can get in touch with the module.
I do not work for Adobe.
Huh?
I do not. I cannot.
You teach about
I don't work. I'm sorry?
Oh, you teach about Adobe. You don't work for Adobe.
I no longer, I used to too at one time. I no longer work for Adobe. So, and even if I did, I couldn't even begin to find the person who would do that. So, but I appreciate it,
Okay,
but
thank you.
all right. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
How are we doing on time?
We got about 20 minutes.
Okay. Any others?
I have a humdinger, but I have to work on it. And that is, I'm gonna try to adapt a NASA Xcode program demo that shows the movie that I took in this Apple for.
That sounds pretty interesting.
And it's a 3D movie. And I was mistaken when I thought that the chat AI gave me the confidence. I gave Apple the confidence to put the button in the 11.9 update. And I said, you're gonna be embarrassed by this guy who's spoofing you on YouTube when people don't see the button here that says camera and then it's Vision Pro. So I gave confidence to there.
Well,
To me.
I would say if you're looking at playing around with doing video recordings in the 3D format that Apple will be supporting with the Vision Pro next year, the next version of iOS when it comes out, maybe in a couple weeks, will
I have it.
you can also beta test it, but I always tell people, unless you're a developer, probably don't
Don't do that.
recommend doing
Yeah.
beta testing.
They won't.
But in that version, that will give you the ability to record in the Vision Pro standard, and the next version of Final Cut, when it's released, which we mentioned earlier, will allow you to edit video in that standard as well. So for those of y'all that are interested in that realm, that is coming soon.
Okay.
Speaking of NASA, because everyone needs a channel, NASA actually just recently introduced their own channel subscription service called NASA Plus, which I have not jumped in, but for those of y'all that are interested, it has apparently tons of video content in space, science, technology, and it might be worth checking out.
Jonesy, before you get
Yes.
out, go back
Oh, all right.
to that vein that you were talking. Could you show them the new with Safari? You can now have a personal side to your website and then a work site, and you can switch between the two.
Right. So you can actually have more than just the two profiles. You can essentially have the personal side, which will have like links and bookmarks that may be more personal, like videos, memes, things like that. And then you can also, in this case, I can switch over to my work side. So this has more work-centric links. So for example, like on my IT related one, my link of how to remove McAfee off of a Mac forever is always one of my favorites. It also has other internal resources that I don't even know if I can, but I probably don't want to show you guys that one. Probably not that one. I can access different resources and links that are work specific if I needed to. Well, maybe it won't let me. No. Is this me? Oh. Is that me? Yes, it's me. Okay. And then this gives me all the different resources that are work specific. So what's actually kind of neat about this is you can actually create different ones. So if you wanted like a personal one, a work one, and an Apple related one, it's a great way to kind of keep all your links kind of separate, because obviously there may be some links and resources that you don't necessarily want mixing on the work side and vice versa. So that's That's the profiles. That's actually a new feature in Safari here. I'm gonna go to over here. You can also have more than one window open. So in this case here, I can have a Safari window open that's using my personal profile, and I can still keep a Safari window open that has my work profile. Yes, and just remember which window's which. On there. And now you guys can see all the different shows that we do for clients and customers and Pizza Hut. There we go.
John,
Yeah. Yes.
going back to the NASA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've had
And it's on NASA site?
It's a picture of the day.
Oh, picture of the day. Okay.
Kind of neat.
Picture of the day.
This is the picture for today. John.
Well, I was about to say, I'm sure if I hunt for it, I can find the link. Oh, there we go. That's super easy. So apod.nasa.gov.
That's right.
All right.
And also I have a little thing on my iPhone that shows when the station is over your house.
Nice.
So that's an app.
I guess since we have just like a couple more minutes here left, I'll briefly talk about what's new. So shortly afterwards, Apple did also, in addition to new iPhones and new Apple Watches, Apple did refresh their MacBook line and their iPad. Let me try that again. iPads are next year. iMac line. And the M3 processors are now in full swing. So if you're keeping up, we're done with M2s. We're moving on to M3s. Probably the biggest takeaways on these new processors is one, they're using the 3-nanometer processor technology, which is a more powerful, but also more power efficient, which is always a very nice thing. It also has a new GPU architecture. So let's see if I think they actually have an interesting video that talks a little bit about that. There we go, graphics performance. So for those of y'all that do work with video, 3D rendering, the new GPU architecture is faster at working with those things. It is also better at rendering things like light rays. So for example, some of the newer games are able to use that technology to better draw how the light comes in and reflects off of surfaces and items and through windows and transparencies. It's actually been very interesting watching Apple's kind of latest chips and Apple's sort of suggestive push towards wanting to pull games into their Apple ecosystem. So I think it's going to be really interesting seeing if that push continues, especially since these processors are so powerful at working with those kind of things. There we go, ray tracing. So, it's able to render and pull all these things in extremely well. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe if they're not already shipping, they should be shipping very soon, both on the MacBook Pro as well as the iMac line. The MacBook Pro does come in a newer color, which is space black. I'm trying to suggest we need one for trial at my job.
Don't buy the base.
You're beating me to it. iMac line looks pretty much like it did on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that counts. I think we can all agree. But if you have an older Intel iMac and you have been like wondering, should you make the jump or not? I really do think If you're still wanting to keep within the iMac family, this is a great option to jump to. Same thing on the MacBook Pro side. If you are still rocking an Intel MacBook and you've been considering upgrading, I also again think that this is a good choice to jump into. However,
Listen to this.
all right, so Apple still offers an 8 GB of RAM configuration.
Oh,
Unified memory. And so, and Apple will try to do their marketing explanation that unified memory is actually more equivalent to 16 gigabytes if you're still going by the old way of putting DIMMs inside the MacBook. For those of you that remember putting DIMMs inside your desktops and notebooks. I know that's not really a thing anymore, but you know, a lot of the real world tests, especially real world tests that have been done externally outside of Apple, have all really shown that that's probably the biggest bottleneck in all of these configurations is that 8 gigs of RAM. So I would highly suggest if you are looking to upgrade, even if you're everyday kind of internet, email, office type user, I really would recommend 16 gigs or above when it comes to picking up memory. I think my personal machine's 32.
Jones.
Yes.
One of the things that I was told, and somebody mentioned, for a reason that you might want to upgrade is because the vulnerabilities in the old operating systems doesn't catch all. There's always somebody trying to get into your stuff, and they try to come up with new ways to do it.
Well, that's an everyday thing.
The old operating system may not be updated with all the fixes and everything that the new one. So that may be a reason that you may want to upgrade your system just to keep yourself safe.
Right.
So for our Christmas giveaway, what I'm looking at is an MP Mac Mini with $4.99 on sale at the platinum. Should I just splurge a little bit and get the 16?
Please.
I feel that was
No, these are be a giveaway, so every member gets a ticket. For how do you remember? You have to be here. You have to be present. You gotta be here.
for those go online, the giveaways are gotta be present to win. So just letting you all know.
Yeah, that would be 16, because if you gave me an 8, I would go immediately over to the Apple store and trade it in.
you know,
But-
Chita had 96 on her.
I did notice that.
That's amazing. I can't imagine.
So I can imagine the size of the images she's probably working with.
And I will tell you, she's very particular about this. It's
Hmm.
Chita, like Chita, it's Chita, S-H-E, not Cheetah, like
Chita.
she's very, very, you know, and anybody calls her that when she's online, she corrects them. So just a warning, if you
Alright.
join the Mac user, the nameless group, and you talk to her, it's Cheetah.
Oh, you did the right thing. Call her Mrs. Hunter.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's Miss Hunt, but she is a Mrs.
We have a guest, Karen, in the back.
Hey.
She asked me a relevant question that I don't think we've answered yet.
Okay.
We lost a lot when Drew passed away, you know, and we filled it a lot with Jonesy in this particular film. But do we have anybody yet that will go to people's houses and help them like we used to do?
Taking your balance, right?
Who else is, I mean, the only other people I know are like this for them. Because they mostly do business.
What do you want done?
Oh, that's not the same one.
Leonard, Davis. Right now, so.
Richard got your telephone number?
Oh, no, Ricky Lynch, that's my, yeah, so. Stoddard. There are lots of Richards, yes.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, I couldn't do it at a regular basis, but I could come by and, give you some help on straightening something things out. I live in Fort Worth. I live over by the Texas Speedway, so that's why I came from. It'll be a 50-mile trip.
Yeah. What about Leonard? Leonard Davis?
Here.
He might. I don't want to commit it.
Lucky, I lived in that. But the reason I came on in 1984, I was in school. There was a math lab, and they did and that was wonderful.
I'm not sure about her rates, but Shalini Israel might be an option too.
They had back there at the university.
What's her name again? Shalini Israel. She's done presentations for us in the past too.
Have you checked out this person? Shalani Israel, is that right?
Shalini? Yep.
Shalani, yeah, I know her. She's not free, she's gonna charge. I don't know how much she charges. She's also pretty busy. And she's pretty busy.
Can I ask you a question? Do you need physical help? Do you need somebody to actually be there, or you just need somebody to show you something?
I need somebody to know.
Because there is a piece of software called TeamViewer.
I need to.
But I can come over for a couple of hours and help you out. And then maybe, I didn't know about TeamViewer, but I'll figure out with this help about TeamViewer. And then what I will do, my other law is helping working. Yes. That's the screen here, right? Yeah, okay. You can still do that. I have to.
Can we do something real quick?
Of course. Yes. Our website, okay.
Scroll down on the very bottom.
We need to put the chairs and everything back.
We do, as soon as we're done, so, yeah, we'll be done pretty quickly here. Hopefully nobody kicks us out.
Yep.
Before we go, I wanted to show one more thing to people who are interested in emulation. I know Tim is. Have you used Sweet 16?
Yes.
2GS emulator?
Yes.
Okay. So it's called Sweet 16. It's a Apple 2GS emulator.
Okay.
So doing these applegrams, I started thinking maybe I should expand my effort to software too. I've got the libraries. I've got all the 2GS disks, the Mac. I got a lot of Mac packs. I got the Apple II disks. So if you, and I'm trying to do this right now. This is the hidden link. You roll the mouse in here, right there, like that. So I'm starting to put part of the web page up that gives you the opportunity to download these disks and run them in Sweet 16 or any other emulator that you like, Apple II emulator. Click on documentation. TGS DOM catalog. Oh my God. Yeah. So this is the actual DOM catalog. I was able to port over. And this has all 250 TGS disk descriptions you can look at. Fantastic. All of them. Wow. 250. Fantastic. That's just the description. So if you go back, click on TGS DOM, disks 1 to 50, I got the first 50 done. If you click on one of those, you get a zip file. that disk.
Yeah.
In all those formats, in Sweet 16 or run.
You should make this a member only and advertise it online, because you have so many people paying for a membership just to get to those discs.
Yeah. How would I do it?
Well, the same way that Macintosh Garden always, they charge, or they make you at least sign up for it, so they know you're legit, and you log on.
Membership, login tied to the membership.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it would work well. I mean, you just, even if you didn't want to do a membership, you could just do a donation. You just try to make some money.
Well, you go worldwide too.
I'm members of all the charity, well, I don't even want to call it charity. Macintosh, sorry.
Right now, it's an 80 meg.
They just disk one of those.
Meg.
Some point. So I plan to populate as much of this as I can over time.
And what he's talking about, the big DS simulator, I mean, it is a paid application, but it's very expensive.
Sweet 16 is actually free.
Okay, it's the other app. Okay.
Virtual 2.
Virtual 2 is a paid application. Sweet 16 may not be. But it's a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, it's a lot of, that's what I do it for fun. And it's just so much fun. Just to look and see, and the old software was just, it's reminiscing the past, is what I call it. And
That's a top one, check it with.
yeah. Romancing the past.
And I've tested my discs on the webpage here, and they run.
The only thing about it is, on some of the emulation, is that if you're running an M series, a lot of the emulators have not been updated for Universal. They're still SAT. You still have to have an Intel machine, so that's one of the reasons why I kept some of my old Intel machines, so I could continue doing emulation. Yeah, the ARM, sometimes if they haven't developed a universal that will run on ARM, then yeah, you have to have it.
There's a requirement over there. Let's see, later. And it does require a ROM file, TDS ROM file. You can't get that here. I've got one, but I can get it. Somebody asked for it. Emulation.
Sorry about that, y'all. Apparently, macOS doesn't like to Zoom and also do Zoom at the same time. But, well, I don't want to do it again because then I'll disconnect again. But I believe that we're reaching the end of the meeting here, since it is after 12. And thank you for joining. I will make sure to get these recordings to Richard, so we'll have them on the website hopefully soon. So thank you all. Have a good one.
Thanks, Josie.